Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview covering the LEC Summer 2024 split. For this occasion, I have him here with me, Carzzy of Team Vitality, who are coming off of an 0-3 first week of said split. And so, Carzzy, really appreciate you taking the time despite the loss to Fnatic recently. So, first off, I want to cover your thoughts and your feelings. How are you feeling? How are you taking in this result?
I mean, I'm feeling a little bit sad since we lost and we are 0-3, but I didn't really expect us to win anyways after the last two performances we had. So I wanted us to use this as much. I wanted us to use this match as a learning experience. I know, like, of course, winning is nice, but Fnatic are just better than us right now. And I wanted us to take this match as a learning experience for next week, so we know like how hard we have to practice in scrims, and that we have to put much more effort in scrims and overall training routines, blah blah blah, stuff like this for the next week, so we can start performing well.
Yeah, I would say it was a pretty difficult opening week for you guys, given that you've took on Fnatic and then also BDS and then losing to Rogue. What do you think are some of the biggest observations that you've seen for this team in this first week, despite all of the losses, what are your biggest takeaways?
But we are pretty good in the early game. It's just our mid game is really really bad, and we are not capable of closing out games. Not like even in a dirty way. Like it's literally impossible for us to just close out games. So we need to work on that.
Well, I'm gonna give you the obvious follow-up on that. Uh, why? Why you guys aren't able to just make that transition? Of course, although I do understand, we're at the very start of this split, so we're still kind of uh getting to know each other. Well, with this new version of the team, but still, what do you think is the biggest reason behind that?
I mean, I think we are not very good at playing with silent pressure right now, and especially when we get Nashor, like we are not patient enough, and we do the plays way too fast, and then we just die, and it's like a chain reaction. We all start inting, so we have to learn more discipline and patience. Patience, patience.
Any positives? Was there any positive that you saw, looking at the other side of the coin from the negatives? Um, If so, like what are those positives that you can kind of look at and say, okay, sure, at least we have this thing going for us right now.
I mean, I feel like we are pretty good in the early game. Like I said, in the first two games, we were really ahead in both of the games, and we were taking like big advantages, and then we threw it in the mid game. But we don't usually get punished in the early game, so no matter what happens, or at least in the last three games. So that's the positive.
I see that. Yeah, you had to well, taking a little bit of a different direction now. From this opening week, you kind of had a little bit of a break, around 2 months, so to speak, from the end of Vitality's run in the spring playoffs. Losing to Fnatic, the same team that you lost today, uh, to now, and so looking at your observations of how the team was back in spring and now adjusting from that to this split. What do you think was the biggest adjustment that you feel the team made? Aside from the obvious switch in jungler, what are they and why?
I mean, I think the biggest issue for us is like this long break, because in our team, I have, as far as I have experienced, whenever we take break, we play really poorly, and it takes us a long of time to get back in shape. So I think that plays a big part on how we are performing right now. I think maybe we should have started practicing a little bit earlier, but that was like no one's decision. It just like in hindsight, probably. But I think that's the biggest issue. I think we are kind of rusty, and it's taking us a long time to get back in shape.
Exactly how long has it been since you guys started practicing for this split? Out of curiosity for me to ask.
Before the split, we played like 8 scrim blocks, maybe nine days of practice, maybe 10. I'm not sure actually.
Was it like during like a few weeks before the start of the split, or was it like kind of spread out? You know, if you understand what I'm saying.
It was like during the 3 weeks before the split, I think, or 2 weeks. I'm not. I don't remember, but it was like 2 or 3 weeks before the split started.
Okay, okay. Hopefully you guys are able to just take off that rust and just improve from that from this point on. And of course, I'm gonna also have to touch upon the obligatory, switch in jungler, bringing in Linkus for Douglas doing that switch in that position. How have you kind of observed? What are you kind of, or what has been your biggest observations of Linkus so far this first weekend? The things that he has brought to the table so far at this early portion of the split.
I think that he is very vocal and decisive in the games, and he has like this clear goal in mind, and he's working really really hard to get there. He wants to be the best, and he has this hunger, in his mindset, which I think is gonna put him in a top three junglers in the LEC in the nearest future. So I think he's gonna be really good, and I have high hopes for Linsas.
Okay, well, how is it compared to Douglas, and how you kind of seen that difference in that dynamic?
So I think Douglas was more of like a mechanical player. He was like more quiet in the game and just focusing on his gameplay. But Linsas is more vocal and giving the team like leadership.
Okay, so much more of a bigger presence on like calling and stuff and just being a leader, right?
Yeah, on like making the team plays.
Okay, okay, okay. Uh, so I guess like is he like the biggest uh like the leader in terms of shot calling in his position, or is it just more so just you or maybe VT or something like that, or Hillisang?
Yeah, I don't talk so much during the game usually nowadays. I mean, I still try to talk as much as possible so it doesn't like as long as it doesn't interfere with my gameplay so I can focus on my game. I try to speak, but it's usually Helisang and Linkas who speak the most, make the most decisions in the game.
Okay, okay.
But like everyone adds up, they just speak the most.
Yeah, I mean, sure, like there's gonna be some moments where you might be feeling high, and so you're gonna be in the zone, and you're gonna want to say, "Oh, I want to do this and this and that," but mostly it's just those two, and yeah, just mostly Hillsing and Link is pretty interesting. Just to see Link is receive that kind of position so early on, and I believe it's his first split in the LEC. You can correct me if I'm wrong there. How have you
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
just if I can interrupt this, it's like it's not him getting the role. It's just natural for him, to get into this position.
it was just quick observation. Okay, he's good. He's good in being a leader. Let's just put him over there, at that position, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, very interesting, very interesting. Uh, now I want to get into just uh where do you kind of see the current level of the group in terms of current form, in terms of just being a collective, being a team, um, from like where you guys are now to the level that you want to be at? Where do you kind of see that gap? Do you feel like it's very big, kind of small, or anything also of that nature?
I mean, right now it looks like we are the worst team in the LEC, so we are pretty far from where we want to be. But I still have some hope. Not some hope, but I still have hope left.
Yeah, for sure. And next week, well, I believe after this, you got 3 more weeks left in the regular season to make that happen. How do you think it's going? How difficult do you think that's going to be with so little time to spare in just trying to reach that desired level? How much of an obstacle is that going to be for you guys?
Mm, I think it's gonna be quite difficult. I think we will have to work on like 200% everyone to get where we want to be and to start playing better because it's very important to win any match from now on. Since we are 0-3, we need to win at least 4 games to have a certain tiebreaker. So yeah,
Knows to be said, and that's all that needs to be understood. Carzzy, thank you so much for taking the time Really
Thank you
appreciate
very much.
you doing this interview despite going 0-3. Really appreciate it. Best of luck goes to the team, but most importantly for yourself.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.